Yeah. So it just really, that was speaking to me, and this whole idea that for us to really love all parts of ourselves, and as we teach our children to love all parts of ourselves, and this push towards conscious parenting that I'm seeing coming around is so beautiful, the way people are raising their little kids now. But there's still this, this push on achievement and oh, you need to get these kind of grades and you need to go to this kind of college. That's still all there. But as people start embodying who they are, accepting all voices of who they are, and then raising children to embody who they are and accepting all voices of who they are, I think we're going to see people being able to live a more productive, healthy life, right? Because a lot of mental illness and things come from this idea that it's not okay to be who we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that fractal piece. If we're not loving ourselves and all the voices in our heads and all the ways we've learned to protect ourselves, how can we love everybody? And again, I want to be clear that I'm not, because I love what you said about your awareness around the activism and what you were witnessing in there. And gosh, all that hate and anger is important too. It's like, it's all important. It's all to be met with compassion. It's just, how can we bring more awareness to what's actually happening in our bodies? How can we bring awareness if we're hating something outside of us? What are we hating within us? If we're angry at someone else, where are we angry at ourselves? If we don't love somebody else, if we can't love something really icky that we're looking at in the world, what can't we love in ourselves? It's such a fractal. And the best thing we can do is first, like you said, love those parts of ourselves. And how do we do that? That's like when I first got into the spiritual community and people were like, just love yourself. I'm like, what are you talking? Like, what do you mean just love you? Like, what is that even? I'm from Jersey, I'm like, like the middle finger is like my second language, in New Jersey. It's like, get out of my way. I'm trying to get my bagel to get to work. It's like, so then just love yourself. I'm like, what? Like, I'm like, look, I'm opening up to all this consciousness, but what the heck does that mean? How do I love myself? It just felt like airy fairy stuff. But when I really understood, and this is what I help my clients do, like, what does that mean? And for me, what it means is, and it's a very simple tool I use with my clients, is the 3 A's, and moving away from the 3 F's. And the 3 F's is fixing, forcing, and figuring out, which is what we've learned, leftover remnants from the industrial age, from the information age. How do we identify a problem within ourselves, a behavior that is wrong? How do we fix it? How do we force our way through it? Or how do we force an emotion down that isn't correct? Or how do we figure out how to navigate this situation with our mind? And the 3 A's are awareness, acceptance, and alignment. And the second A is the most important, acceptance. How do we actually love and accept the parts of us we don't like? And for me, it was a part of myself that constantly ruined relationship after relationship after relationship. Fear of abandonment, anxious attachment, starting off really confident, and 3 months into the relationship, feeling really scared and nervous and needing a lot from my partner, and eventually pushing them away. One example from my childhood, from my parents' childhood, from their parents' childhood, and I could talk forever about that. But, I broke that pattern. I'm in the process of still unraveling the final stages of it, but my relationships are minutely codependent at this point. And when it happens, I can be aware of it and stop it. And how did it happen? It happened when I stopped trying to fix myself, when I stopped getting angry at myself, when I paused and was actually like, okay, wow, like, what does it mean to love myself? And then to really realize, like, of course I'm codependent. Of course I'm scared of abandonment. My parents didn't really love each other, not because they were bad people, because their parents didn't love each other, and because their parents didn't really give them a good example of love, because World War II, because drinking, because avoiding emotions, because this, because that. I grew up in a home where, and then my parents separated when I was 7. And, I grew up in a home where I didn't get the nurturing I needed. So I learned that my nervous system was like really seeking for nurturing from a partner in an unhealthy way. So how do I love that part of myself? Instead of getting so upset, I did it again, pushed another woman away. No, I protected myself. Like I learned to when I was 5, like I learned to when I was 6. I learned how to be a little extra needy to make sure I got my needs met, to make sure that I felt safe, to make sure to try really hard to be vigilant, to make sure I was never alone again, because being alone was painful. I got bullied all the time in school. I got made fun of. How do I analyze this situation to do the right thing? It was coming from all here, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful. That's the very thing I hated about myself. I found the beauty in. And then I was able to feel it. And when you can feel that, that's what changes the nervous system. Not getting it, like not looking at the mirror and saying, I love you, like without a feeling. It means, whoa, no, this part of me is badass. Whoa, wow. Man, what an incredible way I created this pattern in my nervous system to make sure I would never be lonely. Now it's making me lonely, but it doesn't know that. Little Orion doesn't know that. This neural network I created when I was 7, 8, 12. So when you can acknowledge it, that first of all, it's just electricity firing down your spine and into your ganglia and nerves, and it's telling your body to do something automatically, and depersonalize it, and then realize that that pattern's been there because you needed it. Whatever it is for you, whoever's watching. And then when you can actually find that softness, that slows down the firing of the electricity and it creates space for something new. That when you create space for something new inside, then you create space for something new around you and in your conversations and in your relationships and in your financial world. And you build your capacity to live your design, which is going to guide you to opportunities for more money. You build your capacity to be in the unknown, to let your strategy and authority guide you into the unknown, where more money is available in alignment for your natural genius. And from that place, you get inspiration to live out your incarnation cross. When you do that, everything happens. You're playing your part. And that's the best thing that you can do for anyone around you that you might feel guilty about being successful about having more resources when these people don't. Because when you live that, we're starting to align to the world where everyone has resources, even if we can't see it yet. And it's about trusting that. All right, then pause.
Oh, okay. Is everybody else crying too? Because I'm like in tears. That was so beautiful. That was, oh my God, thank you so much. That was such a beautiful, vulnerable, meaningful share. And I just, yeah, I mean, I've got the channel of emoting, right? So I'm totally feeling the beauty in that. And I know that people who are watching or who will watch that will definitely get a lot of value out of that. And we're getting really close to the top of the hour here, but I wanted to say, you have a completely open will center, and in human design, I'm speaking more to those watching because I'm sure you're aware of this. Human design teaches us that where we're completely open, we're here to experience the full spectrum of the energy in that. And that conversation, that share you just had, was such a full spectrum expression of your knowing your worth, that it's like mic drop, done. And I know that we're never done. So you're still going to continue to learn and evolve and grow into knowing who you are and loving the full expression of who you are. But that right there, that kind of message, when we put that message out there, when I take that and make that into a little clip or whatever I do with it, someone's going to listen to that, and it's going to change their life. And I want to thank you for that. And I know I've got a bunch of comments in, someone said, yep, crying. So